Over half of the world's population lives in urban areas. But not all cities look the way we'd expect. In some, there are no streets. In others, there is no sun. And in some, the dead outnumber the living. Today, I'm going to show you cities so bizarre, you'll struggle to believe they actually exist. Our journey begins on the edge of the Atlantic. Just outside Lagos, what was once a tiny fishing village has transformed into Cocoa, massive city in stilts, built over layers of compressed trash. This isn't Venice. It's a living post-apocalyptic landscape. The true population remains a mystery. Official records claim 250,000 residents, but locals believe the number is much higher. In a nation rich with natural resources, almost none of that wealth reaches these waters. The density is staggering, with 6 to 10 people squeezed into every tiny floating shack. Life here is brutal, due to a total lack of sanitation and medical care. Only 5% of the population lives past the age of 60. Residents battle a gauntlet of diseases, including HIV, malaria, hepatitis, and typhoid. The water beneath them is a thick, stagnant soup of waste that emits a constant stench. Yet human resilience shines through. Children attend floating schools built on plastic barrels, and in homes lucky enough to have power. You'll find kids playing on old PlayStation, to consoles. Set against the backdrop of modern skyscrapers and the massive 6.2-mile, 10 kilometers third mainland bridge, Makoko creates a truly surreal image. It is a place of extreme poverty, but also one of incredible perseverance. Next up is Amity, a city that looks like it was created in Photoshop, but it's 100% real. Perched on a flat mountain plateau in Iraqi Kurdistan, it sits at an altitude of 4,600 feet. Founded in the 3rd millennium BC, it was designed as an impregnable fortress, and for obvious reasons. It hasn't grown an inch in size for thousands of years. The city's footprint is frozen. It remains 0.6 miles long and about 1,640 feet wide. For centuries, the only way in was a steep staircase carved directly into the stone. Today, a modern road finally connects it to the world. Ameta is a rare cultural gem, where Muslims and Christians have lived in peace for generations, while it has all the modern essentials for its 11,000 residents. The lack of space means there's nowhere to build new homes, often forcing the younger generation to move away. Currently, the locals are working to get Ameti recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, hoping to share their fortress in the clouds with the world. Next on our list is La Rinconada, a place many call hell on earth. Perched high in the Peruvian Andes, it is the highest permanent settlement in the world. Sitting at an elevation of over 16,400 feet, at this altitude the air is dangerously thin, and the average temperature hovers around a freezing 34 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 degrees Celsius. What draws 30,000 people to this inhospitable wasteland? Gold. The city is a lawless mining camp, where the government has almost no presence. Gold extraction is a chaotic and deadly business. Miners don't just fear tunnel collapses. They face slow death from mercury poisoning. Mercury is used to process the ore, contaminating the air, soil, and water. Consequently, the average life expectancy here is only 50 years, shorter than the national average. The primary recreations for the exhausted? Miners are heavy drinking and red light districts. These makeshift bars and brothels are often scenes of violence and desperation, where human trafficking and underage prostitution are tragic realities. With no law enforcement to intervene, the city has become a breeding ground for STDs and HIV. The living conditions are staggering. Shacks made of corrugated metal, zero sanitation, and trash-filled streets. But the most shocking part is the Casorio labor system. Many miners work for free for 30 days. On the 31st day, they are allowed to take home as much or as they can carry on their backs. Whether that rock contains a fortune or absolutely nothing is purely a matter of luck. Thousands gamble their lives every day for that one chance at wealth. Welcome to Yanjin, the narrowest city in the world. Hidden deep within the steep mountains of China's Yunnan province, this place frequently goes viral online. with many people convinced it's an AI-generated fantasy. The city literally has no room to expand. At its narrowest point, it's only 100 feet wide, and even its widest section barely reaches 1,000 feet. The most striking feature of Yanjin is the rows of apartment buildings perched on tall, thin stilts right along the riverbank. These stilts are the only defense against the river's frequent and violent flooding. Despite the precarious location, nearly 300,000 people call this place home. The city is supported by a surprisingly robust infrastructure, including a railway and a 1.25-mile long tunnel carved directly through the mountainside. Life in Yanjin is a constant battle with geography. Floods can be so severe that they submerge lower floors or cause the stilts to collapse entirely. Yet, for the locals whose families have been here for centuries, the corridor city is more than just a viral curiosity. It's a resilient community with some of the most surreal views on the planet. Next is Colma, California, located just south of San Francisco. It is easily one of the most unusual places on Earth, as 73% of the city's land is dedicated to cemeteries. Here, the dead outnumber the living by a staggering 1,000 to 1, and that is not an exaggeration. Currently, there are about 1,500 residents living above ground, while over 1.5 million rest below. This city of the silent exists because of a century-old crisis. Around 100 years ago, San Francisco banned burials within city limits due to high land costs and space shortages. Consequently, 150,000 bodies were relocated to Colma, and it has been the primary necropolis for the Bay Area ever since. It's a peaceful, almost cinematic town, famous for its tongue-in-cheek motto, "It's great to be alive in Colma." Rounding out our list is Coober Pedy, the opal capital of the world, located in the heart of the Australian outback. It's a true subterranean city, while 97% of the world's opals come from this region. The most fascinating part is that life happens entirely underground, from homes and schools to churches, bars, and even a cemetery. Everything is buried beneath the desert floor. This radical lifestyle was born out of necessity to escape the blistering surface heat, which can soar to 113 degrees Fahrenheit, 45 degrees Celsius. Inside these dugouts, the temperature remains a steady and perfect 73 degrees Fahrenheit, 23 degrees Celsius year-round. Fittingly, the name Coober Pedy comes from an Aboriginal phrase meaning white man in a hole. The residents are so integrated into the mining life that many homes have doors leading directly into miles of opal tunnels. The town's post-apocalyptic aesthetic, so unique that it served as a filming location for Mad Max and the Chronicles of Riddick. Digging a new room here can even make you rich. For instance, while excavating a hotel, workers struck an opal vein worth $360,000. Today, tourism is just as vital as mining, as visitors flock to see this Martian-like outpost that may very well be the blueprint for future colonies on the Red Planet. Our planet is full of places that look like movie sets but are a brutal reality for millions. But if these cities seemed crazy to you, you haven't seen the story of peoples who survived where it's impossible. Click the video on your screen right now. I'll see you there.